I have a lot of people in the comments of my videos asking me if I can recommend an agency for them. Now that's kind of a complicated question. It's not really easy to do, but in this video, I do want to recommend some agencies to the best of my ability. But I also want to see if everybody watching can kind of help each other out and recommend more agencies than just the ones that I know of. So let's get started. What's up, my fellow actors? Welcome to the Acting Career Center, here to help you learn the skills you need to break into the film and television industry. My name is Kurt Yu. Thank you so much for spending some time here with me today. If it's your first time here, make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more videos on acting, auditioning, and career advice every single week. All right, so today we're talking about agencies. I know we've talked about it before in many other videos, but it's a very popular topic, and specifically today, I want to talk about agency recommendations and who the best agent is, if there is such a thing. But before we get started, for those of you who are brand new, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, thank you for being here. If you are an aspiring actor, then you know that we have to audition well as actors, right? And because we're talking about agencies today, anybody who applies for an agency, an agent is going to ask you to audition for them. So no matter how you cut it, we have to learn how to audition well. So I have good news for you. I've actually put together a free 10-step audition preparation guide that I call my audition cheat sheet. And if you want to download it, you can get it by going to that link right up there. It's my 10-step audition preparation process that I personally use that's helped me book over 50 movies and television shows. So if you think it can help you out, then go ahead and download it for free up in that link up there. Okay, on to the topic for today. As I mentioned earlier, I get a lot of comments in my videos asking me to recommend an agent, or sometimes I get a question like, who's the best agent? And it's a really hard question to answer because there's not really a right answer. It's kind of like asking, what's the best car? There's not really a best car. There are better cars in certain situations, right? And depending on who you are, you may prefer one car, a different person may prefer a different car. So agencies are no different. The better question to ask instead of who's the best agent is who's the best agent for you right now. Those two qualifiers are really important because if you think about it, the best agent for you is not necessarily the best agent for me. And the best agent for me 10 years ago is not necessarily the best agent for me currently. Now, believe it or not, there are thousands of agents in cities all over the world. And why is that? Because there is video production happening in cities all over the world. Any city where they have any sort of video production happening, whether it's a movie or a show or a commercial or any sort of corporate training video, anything that requires actors, then generally in those cities, you're probably going to find agencies who represent actors in those cities. Generally speaking, a production that takes place in a certain region typically works with agents in that same region, who in turn works with actors in that same region. So as an example, when I first started in Cleveland, Ohio, I got an agent in Cleveland, Ohio, who helped me find acting jobs in Cleveland, Ohio. I have since moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and now I have an agent in Atlanta, Georgia, who helps me find acting jobs in Atlanta, Georgia. If in the future I decide to move to Los Angeles, I would need to get an agent in Los Angeles to help me find acting jobs in Los Angeles. This is how the industry typically works. So when I say who's the best agent for you right now is usually going to be the agent that is closest to you. If you live in a small town that doesn't have any agencies, which is very much possible, then check your nearest big city to see if there are agencies in that area that can represent you for that region. This is why I say it's hard for me to recommend agents to everybody that asks me because, like I said, there are thousands of agents all over the world. I don't know all of them. The ones that I am most familiar with are the ones in the cities where I have lived. So, for instance, I started out in Cleveland, Ohio, and now I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm familiar with the agents in those regions, but not really anywhere else. So I'm going to be recommending some agents in this video, but they're really going to be most beneficial to the people that live in Ohio or live in Georgia. But don't worry, I also have an idea that might be able to help out those of you who don't live in those regions. So I want to try something here in this video, and I don't even know if this will work, but we're going to see. We have about 100,000 subscribers to this channel right now. That means there are going to be people watching from all over the world. And I'm sure some of those people watching have agents that they're really happy with. Now, if you're one of the people that has an agent and you're really happy with them and you're willing to share, let's try this. Why don't you leave a comment in this video with the city where you are as well as the name of the agency? That way, maybe at some point, somebody else reading through the comments who might live in the same city will now learn of an agency that they can look up and start researching. Maybe we can help each other out that way. On the flip side, if you're someone watching who doesn't have an agent, maybe you can leave a comment below and say the region where you are currently looking for an agent and ask if there are any agents that anybody knows of that might be willing to represent you in that area. Maybe someone reading through the comments also lives in your area and knows of an agency. Maybe they can reply to your comment and help you out. Again, I don't know if this is going to work, but because, like I said, we got 100,000 subscribers now, or close to 100,000. I'm hoping it's going to get there in the next month or so. We've got so many subscribers now that I imagine that we can make use of this community and see if we can use that comment section and help each other. Because like I said, I'm only one person. I only know of the agencies in a very specific region, but let's make use of all the people all around the world that are subscribing to this channel. We'll see if it works. Even if it helps just one person out, if it helps just one person find an agency, I will consider it a success. Okay, now let me get to recommending my agencies that I've talked about. So let's start with Cleveland, Ohio, where I first got started. My first agent in Ohio was called The Talent Group. Their website is talentgroup.com. You can look that up. If you live in the Cleveland, Ohio area or the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, this is where Talent Group does most of their work. So if you live in either of those regions, look up the Talent Group, check out their website, see if they might be a good fit for you. There's also another agency that operates in the same region called Dougherty. I've never worked with Dougherty, but I have many friends who have representation with Dougherty and really like them. So that's another agency that you might want to check out. I'm going to put links to all of these agencies that I recommend down in the description of this video so that you don't have to write down all of these names. Another agency in Ohio that I would recommend people look at, and this is another agency that I've worked with that's more in the southern area of Ohio, so more in Columbus, central Ohio, Cincinnati, southern Ohio, and they also operate in Louisville, Kentucky, and they're called Heyman Talent. Their website is heymantalent.com. So if you live in any of those regions, you might want to check out Heyman Talent. Now let's talk about Atlanta. So since coming to Atlanta, I've been working with an agency called Houghton Talent. Their website is houghtontalent.com. And I've been really happy with them. So you could check out their website and see if they might be someone who would be a good fit for you. I'm also going to list a bunch of other agencies that I think are really good here in Atlanta. I'm not going to talk through all of them now because it's going to take a long time, but those are all going to be linked in the description below as well. So those are my recommendations for people that live in the Ohio and Pennsylvania region, as well as the Atlanta, Georgia region. And like I said, if you don't live in either of those regions, then check the comments and see if there are people who have recommended agencies in your area, or leave a comment yourself and ask and see if anybody else will come back and respond to you. Now, there are a couple more ways that I recommend people look up agencies and start researching them, and one is through your network. I made a video, I think it was 2 videos prior to this one, about networking and how important networking is for your career. It's the single best way for you to learn about the industry, not only learning about acting and your career, but about just the business side of things, meaning who the agents are, who the casting directors are, headshot photographers, and just overall growing your network around the industry. Now, for agencies, you can find it by a physical network, meaning the people that you actually know in person, or you can do networking via social media and see if you can research and find agencies that way. I'm not going to go so deep into that in this video because I've already talked about it in that one. I'll link to that video up here in the corner if you want to watch it, but networking can definitely help you find agents, especially those that are in your region. Now, another way that you can find agencies here in the United States is by the SAG-AFTRA website. So if you go to the SAG-AFTRA website, you can search agencies by region of the country. And if you go to that region, you can find a list that they have on there. Now understand that these lists are not exhaustive. Agencies, just like any other businesses, some agencies shut down, some agencies, start up every year. So it changes quite a bit. SAG-AFTRA's website, I have found, is not completely up to date, but it is a good place to get started. So if you live in the US, that's a good place to check out. Now, I know in other countries, there are probably websites for actors that have agencies listed, but unfortunately, like I said, I don't live anywhere else. I don't know of all of these websites that might exist in other countries, but that is something you can try to research on your own. Again, through your network, by building your actor network, you may be able to find those things out. Okay, now let's say you have found an agency that you are interested in and you want to submit to them. How do you do that? Well, generally, agents are going to have that information on their website. So again, make sure you do as much research as you can. For example, if you wanted to submit to Talent Group, you go to Talent Group's website and you find the page where they have you submit. Typically, for most agencies, they're going to ask you for at least a headshot, a resume, and a demo reel for actor submissions. This is across all regions, in my opinion. It's probably in every other country around the world too, even though I don't live there, but it just seems like that's generally what most agents want to see when they're deciding whether or not to represent an actor. So when you submit to an agency, make sure you have a very good competitive headshot, a professionally formatted resume, and then a well done demo reel to showcase your acting ability. All right, I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to use that comment section and see if we can all try to help each other out. Maybe this is going to work, maybe it's not. I've never done this before, but I would love it if we can kind of help each other find agencies that are in no matter where we are around the world. All right, until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and I hope to see you on set one day.